Good day, everybody. It is Saturday, February 5th, I guess? Yeah. And just on the way to the park with little Miss Kenzie in her bright orange sweater so she doesn't get shot by any hunters. There's no hunters there. But anyway, just wanted to do a quick video, talk about topics of the day. I hope you all joined me in Irving for the live stream last night, Honk Nation. If you didn't get a chance to watch it live, which I wouldn't be surprised because there weren't a lot of people watching. It's available in the ammunition playlist on my YouTube channel. Anyway, talking to Irving last night was a little bit disheartening because he is at this point now where he's just sort of, I don't want to say he's given up, but he has no hope. He feels no hope. He doesn't feel like he's a citizen of the country. And when I pressed him about it, I'm like, why? Because the government's garbage? He's like, no, because the citizens are garbage. I have a different point of view, quite personally. I don't think the citizens are garbage. I think the protests going on in Ottawa right now are indicative of that. I guess his point is he just doesn't think it's enough. It's not going to be enough. I'm cautiously optimistic. How about that? Now, the last news I heard was that GoFundMe was basically, they confiscated all the funds and are now thinking of reallocating it, which is, I mean, I don't know what their terms of service are or what their rights are, but I think that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. When people make a donation through a service like GoFundMe for a specific cause, and then the people who run that service say, nah, we're not giving the money to the people who it's supposed to go to, we're going to give it to other people instead. That's a clear violation of, people's rights. That's misappropriation of funds. And, maybe they've gotten some political pressure. I don't know. My hope is that the counter pressure from the people who donated is enough that maybe they'll rethink it, but who's to say? It's, things like that. Those are disheartening. Those are saddening when you see things, organizations and companies like GoFundMe do these sorts of things. GoFundMe was set up specifically for this. People have an idea, people have something they want to promote, they want other people to get involved and crowdsource it, so to speak. And that's what they're there for. That's their mission statement, right? So that people can fund projects and movements and things like that. But that it's politically biased, or it can be so politically manipulated either by, Canadian government, other organizations, powerful individuals, I don't know. Says to me that they're not worth the HTML they're coded in. How about that? They should, people should rightly stop using GoFundMe. I know there's a couple of other alternatives out there. The name escapes me, but it's like Patreon, right? Patreon also has this habit of saying your views are too risque for us, so we're going to close down your account, right? So that's why Subscribestar exists, because Subscribestar, as far as I know, they don't give a shit about the content of the people who are using their service. They just, they want to be that escrow agency or whatever you want to call it, that takes people's money and distributes it to the people who set up their accounts, and then they take their own little cut, right? In any event, the whole thing is a cluster, Chuck, and I think people are waking up, especially the people who support this movement. They're waking up that powers are sort of aligning against them. You can see it when the Prime Minister calls everybody, every name in the book who supports this, despite the fact that it has overwhelming support from the electorate. See, here's the thing, and I mentioned this in last night's live stream. Justin Trudeau, he is so invested in the Agenda 21/Agenda 30, the Party of Davos, the Klaus Schwab agenda, that it doesn't matter how much pushback he gets. as long as he has the support from the globalist syndicate, right? He's receiving his marching orders, and he's decided that it doesn't matter how much pressure he takes, he's going to push it. And someone commented on last night's live stream after the fact. He was in the live stream commenting as well, but he put a comment on the video. I believe his name is JD Dave.
Hey, Bobo.
JD Dave said he's thinking he's more in line with Irving Twin, and the reason for that is there's absolutely no coverage of what's going on in Ottawa or in cities around the country and around the world, for that matter, that are in solidarity with the Freedom Convoy. And so he thinks that's why, it's not going to make a lick of difference. But here's the thing. Legacy media, and I made a comment to this effect. Legacy media, they understand that their days are numbered, and they're not going to be actively involved in covering their demise, right? It doesn't make any sense for them to do that. So when you have alternative media, when you have new media, and you have users like Viva Fry, Portland Andy, Ottawaks, putting out the actual uncensored, uncut footage of what's going on in Ottawa, and people can see it, and they realize that, it is a peaceful protest. It is just a bunch of freedom-loving Canadians who want an end to the mandates, who, by the way, are in line with the majority of Canadians. The media is not going to cover it because they know where their bread is buttered, right? They know who's feeding them, and who's feeding them is the government. They paid him $600 million, basically, to become a mouthpiece of the federal government. So they're not going to cover their own demise. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. And here's the thing. These attacks on the character of the protesters, these this gaslighting by the media about the protest, this is their strategy because they realize they're wounded. When you look at what's going on in the United States with CNN is imploding. Legacy media in general is imploding. Left-wing media is imploding. And they realize that the alt media, the new media, is eating their lunch, They're wounded, and a wounded animal, hides its weakness. So they're not going to act like they're weak. They're going to act like they're the most powerful thing in the world. And in acting like they're the most powerful thing in the world, they lash out with these ridiculous attacks and this ridiculous narrative that nobody believes. But I made a point to JD Dave that wounded animals fight in desperation. And as long as they keep fighting in desperation, and their opponent, fight strategically, use pack tactics, that kind of thing, we're going to win. It doesn't mean we're not going to take our lumps. It doesn't mean we're not going to have a few cuts and bruises. But ultimately, we're going to win. They're dying. Legacy media is dying. Authoritarian government, top-down government is dying. But it doesn't mean we can't get complacent. We can't go, yeah, we've won. We haven't won. We're winning. And we're winning steadily. And like the tortoise and the hare, man, I'm throwing out a lot of metaphors. Slow and steady wins the race. The more desperate their attacks, the more wounded they appear, and the more people will join on the side that has the best chance of winning, the freedom side, our side. So, folks, don't lose hope. JD Dave, Irving Twin, everybody who thinks that this is, this is a losing battle. No, it's not a losing battle. You're just too far from the fray. You're not seeing all the licks that the old guard is taking at the hands of the new order. That sounds really sinister, the new order. But you know what I mean. If you were closer, if you could see it, or if you were keeping a closer eye on it, you'd realize we are winning. Freedom is winning. Liberty is winning. And And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Anyway, just about at the park, Kenzie's starting to whine and moan because she wants to go play in the snow. The silly thing is she's an island dog, and when she goes into the snow, she starts freezing within a few minutes. So I had to put this ridiculous coat on her, which she hates wearing. But yeah, gonna go frolic in the snow for a little bit, and I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.